we also have some few Kickstarter picks.
Yeah.
Of course, I think we missed a bunch like in the last month. We just got a few to highlight for you today. So if you didn't know what to buy, well, we saved you some money. First up, this is one that I looked at too that you're going to talk to us about. It's multiple games actually. It's the Tokyo series, and there are 3 titles that are something like Jiro Hanbaiki, Metro, that one I know, and Jutaku. What's this?
So it's funny. I'm really glad you said that because I asked my brother, who actually knows Japanese, to pronounce them for me, and I forgot. So now we can blame you for the mispronunciation. So what it made me, in essence, do you remember 504?
I do.
It's like that. Each game has actually a bunch of little games in them that you can play, but they're by their names they're based. Like one's actually Metro. You could probably guess is the Japanese metro system. It has to do with all the subway tracks and stuff.
Okay.
One, I forget which is which, but is actually based on all the the idea of all the vending machines and stuff all around. And the last one's actually based on the architecture in Japan of how a lot of them look really weird because they're trying to fit in weird spots and stuff.
Yeah, and I know in the video, like the vending, they actually have little 3D vending machines.
Yeah, and each game actually comes with a bunch of little games in it. But what's interesting is that if you have like the Metro and one of the other ones, which I'm not going to try to mispronounce, you can actually get more games then because you have more pieces that you can combine. So it sort of has the 504 idea, but instead it's split up, which I thought was interesting. So you can sort of get one, and if you really like that, then get another. You're not buying all of them at once.
Yeah, I really thought the art style looked cool. It almost looks kind of like minimalist, like it's very clean and a Japanese kind of like modern technology art style kind of a look. The multiple games thing does worry me a little.
It does, but I think that by separating it out, and these 3 are the first in a full set, so there's more to come.
It is cool that they're all from like different designers of other games. Like they got people to come in teams. But I know sometimes like it can be quantity over quality, but they're not doing like 504 where they're 504.
Well, and that's why I like it's separated, so you can sort of, instead of just jumping deep into the pool with all the pieces, you can sort of wade in.
And I know some of them, they have like dexterity games.
And even then, it's still pretty pricey, I think.
They're all kinds of genres. In terms of pricing, I can cover you there. It depends what you want. I think one was 35.
Right. I mean, like you said, these are like 3-print bottles, and like the architectural ones, these nice little wooden pieces.
If you want all 3, it's $99, which isn't really that bad for 3 games. If they're good quality, that's pretty good for a board game, I think.
But definitely a cool concept worth checking out. Yeah. And like you said, definitely visually very appealing.
So check that out, Tokyo series, if you're a Japan fan. Next up, let's go into outer space with my good friend, John Carter of Mars.
Oh, yeah.
This is the role-playing game from Modiphius. John Carter, of course, failed film based on beloved critical book franchise. That's what this is based in. Nothing to do with the movie. My reaction to this was, at first, I can't believe it. Maybe there was an older one, but it seems like that's something that should have been already in existence because this series has been around for so long. I actually have read The Princess of Mars, which is like the big one that I think the movie was based on, which is really cool. If you don't know John Carter of Mars, it's like Star Wars, Dune, and many other sci-fi things really owe a lot to this story for establishing that kind of stuff. It's about a dude from Earth who goes to Mars, and it's kind of a Conan the Barbarian thing almost. He goes around, he meets aliens, he saves people, that kind of a deal. High fantasy, sci-fi adventure. And it's just a really cool setting, I think, for an RPG. From the sounds of it, they've done the work and the research, basing it in the stories. It's using a system that's been used in a few other games, including, I know, the recent Star Trek RPG, slightly modified, where I don't know the exact details, but you have different skills that are supposed to make your skill rolls easier to understand what your character can and can't do. I think somewhat streamlined, not just kind of a rolling 1 through 20, but sort of a different take on that. And the character sheets and the art all look really cool in the style of the series. So it sounds like a neat one. It sounds like they're putting a lot of work into it for sure, if you like that series. The only maybe hurdle for it is that, like the movie that came out, so many things have kind of done what this originated that there might be a lot of people who it doesn't seem as fresh now because we've seen it every other place in existence.
True, but I think there's one of those things that if you're a fan of the genre or even just the series itself, it's nice to see it. I mean, I really do love all these copyright RPGs coming out because it lets you be in the world that, you know, so many of us have already spent probably hours on thinking about.
Yeah, and it has a lot of options for the races you can be, different time periods from the books. There is going to be an option just for someone to play as John Carter, or he can be an NPC or something like that.
Now, do you think the movie was just someone's really bad own RPG?
Could be. I actually liked the movie, though.
I didn't see it, so I neither.
But it bombed. So that is $20 for the PDF. $54 gets you a hardcover copy, and there's like miniatures that you can pay different prices for involved as well. One more, speaking of miniatures, some accessory stuff, Jungle Fever, resin cast, and scenery.
Yeah, this is just a cool one I wanted to throw out to more of the miniature people. This is, if you wanted to make it look more of an Aztec theme, that's a lot of temples, walls, and stuff. And I think that's really cool. It's definitely a theme. I think it always looks really nice and fun to visit.
Like Uncharted.
Yeah, exactly. Like that, if you're doing it for whether your own RPG, like your Dungeons & Dragons table or your own miniatures game, just something I thought cool to take a look at.
Yeah, so check that out. Prices for that one vary all over the place because you can mix and match.
Yeah.
There's dice towers, I know. They had all kinds of stuff going on for that. If you enjoyed this video, it was just a snippet of our full-length podcast, which you can find on our YouTube channel every week. So please go ahead, like, and subscribe for more board game-related content coming at you in the future.
And don't forget to check out rollforcrit.com, where we actually sell a lot of the games we talked about, as well as post news and all our other videos. Until then, I'm Will Keeler.
I'm Jonathan Estes, and this is Roll for Crit.